everyone. Yeah, this is a free tutorial. I'm happy and excited to teach you just a little trick on how to do your pleated crinoline hairband, right? Okay, so we just measure 16 from our pleated crinoline and then cut. Okay, so when you cut, remember the thread is not supposed to be there, so you take that thread off, right? So once you've done that, you're going to fold the crinoline as if you're folding it like a circle. Can you see that? Okay, so when you fold like a circle, you will take your thread, a matching thread, and your needle to put that folding together. Okay, so I will advise that when you're tacking, you tack at the tip of the folding. So me, I just did my own, just straightforward. So but if you want it to stay in place, at that tip, okay, at that tip, you fold, you sew there. Okay, don't come in, don't come down the way I'm sewing now. Sew your own at the tip, okay, because I'll be able to maneuver mine. You might not be able, right? So when you're sewing, that tip that is showing now that you can see, don't go down, just sew exactly at that point, right? And you just do a running stitches. So by the time you get to the end, then we'll know that you are done. Okay, so we are done. Then we don't cut the thread. We don't cut the thread because you're going to stretch it. You see that I'm stretching it now. So if you pull out the thread or the needle, it might get loosened because you're trying to pull it so much. Okay, so you give an allowance of that thread. Let that thread be there. That's why I'm leaving that needle. Okay, and then leave it until you are sure that you have stretched it to the point that you know it will not, get caught, right? So I'm trying to use our bias to hold one part. So I'm holding that part firmly with the bias. Okay, so that I'll be able to easily stretch it to the other end so that it will not pull off. So we're still coming back to wrap this, right? But let's just tie it down, okay? Okay, so once I tie it and I'm sure that I've tied it, I will now cut my needle. Okay, so it cannot pull off because you've already tied it, right? And then you check again if it's going to stretch to the end. Okay, so once it can stretch to the end, we do the same. We tie that part too. Okay, so we're trying to tie, and then that's the point we'll put our glue. Okay, so we'll try to start putting the B6000. So for B6000 to work effectively, we have to put on both sides. So we are putting on the hairband, okay, that is already wrapped, right? You know the hairband, right? This hairband is the small metal hairband, okay, that we all know. We use it for wire works and all of that. It's a small, very tiny hairband, and then I wrapped it with this shining bias. Okay, we all know how to wrap, right? Okay, so I'm trying to put the gum on the hairband. Okay, we also put the glue on the crinoline. Okay, so at the point we put on the crinoline and at the point we put on the hairband, they will meet after it has dried a little. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing, right? Okay, you can see that I'm trying to put the glue on a straight line. Okay, so if you want it to stay in place, you can, as well as you put the glue, you can as well put your needle, right, to hold it so that it stays just at that point, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm putting the glue just at the straight line on the pleated hairband that is already folded. And you see, so we're going to let it breathe for a while. So now I think it's dried a little. You can see where I put my needle. Can you see? I just try to hold it down there. Okay, so you can as well just put needle straight up so that you just stay in place. Okay, Yeah, so once you do that, you will now try to follow that pattern, the line where you put your glue, and then just spread it all over the pleated headband. So as you do it, you press it down. You know, when you're working with glue, if you don't press it for a while, after a while it will pull off. So for you to be sure, you make sure that you press it very well, press it firmly, right? So another thing you can do is, after you have done that, you can as well tack. You can tack it if you know how to tack it to hold it down. Okay? Okay? So now we've got it to the end. So we're going to gather that together. Okay? So you can see. So the same way we tied the other end, it's just the same way we're going to tie this part too. So we're trying to tie it, okay, so that it stays in place. And then we're not going to leave it tight roughly like this. We're going to wrap it so nicely so that it comes out really well. Okay, so we just want to tie it so that we are sure that the glue is staying in place, and then we are sure that it will not remove, right? Okay, so we've tied it. Can you see that? Okay, our hairband is almost ready. Okay, so you press it, you are sure that they are both staying together and they are firm. Okay, so once it's firm, you can now try to wrap. Okay, so we can't leave that tip rough, so we need to, you know, loosen that part and then wrap it. Yes, wrap it nicely. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do. So I'll put my glue at the tip, at the loose tip of the pleated crinoline, and then on the bias that I'm going to use to wrap. Okay, so always take note that it has to breathe for a while so that it works effectively. If you try to, you know, wrap it almost immediately, it comes off, right? So you let it air for a little bit and then you then wrap it. Okay, so I'm trying to put it together and then I wrap. Okay, so you just wrap nicely, right? So we'll do that to the other parts. Okay, can you see that? Can you see how I wrap that part? Okay, so we just trim out any rough edges. Okay, and then now glue it nicely. Can you see that? So you do the same on the other parts. Okay, just exactly the same. And then you put your glue at both sides, like putting your glue on the shining bias and then on the rough edges of the pleated crinoline. Okay, and so you do the same, you just wrap. Okay, so once once it dries a little, you just put it together. Somebody just called me, so sorry about that ringing tone. So let's continue. So we now try to wrap what we were trying to wrap. Okay, so once we wrap it round, you are sure that you're wrapping. So when you're wrapping it, you wrap it with strength. Pleated crinoline is somehow bulky. So when you're wrapping it, you will have to pull it hard so that it presses it, or compress it a little so that it becomes really small. Okay, almost like the hairband, right? So that's what we did there. Okay, that's why it's a bit small. So we want to just end it by cutting the excess. You can see me trying to cut there, and then we seal it up. Okay, you can see that, right? So I like to breathe for a while, because by the time you try to close it, it's not dry, it will come off. So just allow it to breathe for a while. But you can see that, yeah, we have done our headband. Yeah. Okay, so it's something you can do, play with colors. You can do purple, red, blue, and you can wear, you can sell. You can see how it came out. Love the earring. Yeah, thank you.